We are live and all set to go.
Thanks, Jim. Good evening. Welcome to the November meeting of the Northborough Conservation Commission. My name is Greg Young. I'm the current chair of the commission. This open meeting of the Northborough Conservation Commission is being conducted remotely pursuant to Chapter 22 of the Acts of 2022, an act relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency signed into law on July 16th, 2022. All members of the Northborough Conservation Commission are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The act allows Northborough Conservation Commission to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless the chair notes otherwise. Members of the public who wish to view the live stream of this meeting may do so by going to Northborough Remote Meetings on YouTube via the link listed on the agenda. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will feature public comment. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Tom Beals.
Here.
Justin Dufresne.
Here.
Diane Gouldner.
Here.
Todd Helwig.
Here.
Great. Thank you. Staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Vinnie Vignali.
Yes.
Jim DiGiulio.
Here.
Super. Some ground rules for presenters and or applicants on the agenda. The chair will invite each speaker or applicant on the agenda by name to make a presentation and speak to their application. Participants will provide their full name and hold until the name is called. Each speaker will be asked to mute their phone or computer when not speaking and to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate meeting minutes. Those responding will be asked to wait until the floor is yielded to them. Speakers who wish to respond to the comments of others do so through the chair, taking care to identify themselves. Each vote taken by the commission will be conducted by roll call vote. For items with public comment, after members have spoken, the chair will afford public comment as follows. By phone, dial *9 to raise your hand and wait to be recognized. Please note that part of your phone number will be visible to those viewing the meeting. By Zoom, click raise hand on the bottom of your screen and wait to be recognized. The chair will ask members of the public who wish to speak to identify their names and addresses only. Once the chair has a list of all public commentators, the chair will call each by name and afford 3 minutes for any comments. You all set, Diane?
I am. Are you ready? There will be a meeting of the Northborough Conservation Commission on Thursday, November 17th, 2022 at 6 p.m. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2022, an act relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency signed into law on July 16th, 2022. This meeting will be conducted via remote participation. No in-person attendance by members of the public will be permitted. To participate in the public comment portion of this hearing, go to the Northborough Remote Meetings YouTube channel or the town website for Zoom information. The meeting will include the following hearings pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, the Northborough Wetlands Protection Bylaw, and the Stormwater Management and Land Disturbance Bylaw. Application for a notice of intent of 17 Easy Street, map 76, parcel 18, by Deanna Lettick for a proposed septic system repair and associated site work is our only application this evening.
Great, thanks, Diane.
You're welcome.
Meeting minutes. Anybody have any questions, comments with those? I've got a couple. So anybody else have any questions or comments? Nope. Vinnie, 2 comments here for me. First one's on page 5, which is under the violations section.
Yeah.
The first violation was 144-150 Whitney Street. That's not correct, it's Main Street.
Oh, that's right. It should be West Main Street. You're right.
Right. So that's one. The second one is on page 7, which is really just a procedural item, which is We say that the next meeting was scheduled for November 21st. It was the 14th, I think.
No, we talked about that. At that time, that date, we changed the 14th. We tried to get it to the 17th, but people couldn't make it. And then we said, well, let's go to the 21st. And then at that time, I didn't realize that that was another Monday night. And we still ran into the same trouble with having a Zoom host. So I think that's correct, but we did bounce around with dates.
All right, fair enough. Certainly the first one's like more important anyway, the violation notice here.
Yes.
Okay, great. That's all I have. Anybody else? Okay, need a motion to accept then.
So moved.
Second,
Seconded by Diane. Roll call vote. Tom Beals.
he stepped away.
Okay. Justin Dufresne.
I can't vote. I wasn't here.
Oh, okay. We must wait for Tom to come back then.
Over
Yeah.
two.
Well, I don't know where he just went.
But we can move on, just come back to that item.
Okay,
Okay, public hearings. Notice of intent, 17 Easy Street. And this is Vito. Vito,
All right, there we go.
what's for dinner?
Pizza.
All right. Good stuff. All American food. Here you go. All right, 17 Easy Street, a proposed repair and some site work.
Okay, get the screen going. Okay, so Vito Colonna, Cornerstone Engineering. So we're at 17 Easy Street. That's right here. It's at the last house on the street. It's just kind of off Lincoln a little bit. In the back is Cold Harbor Brook, clips the back of the property. And then there's wetlands associated with that. And there's also wetlands kind of up here to the north of the site also. Switch over to the site plan. So this is the site plan itself with the septic replacement. We have the river to the south, Cold Harbor Brook. Actually, just for this exhibit, I expanded our viewport so you could see it. There's the wetland BVW that associated with it. The floodplain from the river extends just beyond the wetland. And then that other wetland is up here to the north off site. So we have 100-foot buffer in green here, 100-foot buffer there, and then 200-foot riverfront running right through the site. So there's a lot of resource areas on the site. I think we have, it's basically all of them that you could have. So the existing septic is a cesspool right here, and then it has an overflow leach pit cesspool down in this location down here. It's in failure, has to be replaced. So we tested and designed a septic up in here, so it's outside of all the resource areas. The only part in the riverfront and the 100-foot buffer is the connection from the house and then the tank itself. And then we got the pump chamber and up to this system. We did have to pump to this location just because it's a little higher in elevation than down in here. And it gives us that increased separation to any groundwater. So we really didn't have much other choice than locate this in here. But we did get that as far away as we could with the system. I think that's all except that, we have the erosion barrier. Just the only reason it's down here is just so we can access this leach pit when we go to abandon it. They're basically just gonna crush it down and fill it, pump it out first, obviously, and then crush it and fill it. Other than that, all the work would be up in this area. I think that's all I have. I'll turn it back over.
Great. Thanks, Vito. Yeah, there's not a lot in there, not a lot in the jurisdiction.
Yeah.
Penny, what do you think? Any issues from your side?
No, I had a couple of comments, but he addressed those, and I think he's put it in the best place possible. It's got resources on both sides, and he's shoehorned it in where he can.
commissioners' question, comment? Nothing. Okay, it's an NOI. So Vinny, we're looking here if it's a positive or if it gets passed, I should say. No special conditions you can think of, or?
I don't think so. He doesn't need to do any of the delineations with signs or any of that stuff. Unless the commission wants him to, because the wetland is down in the southern part of that property there where you're pointing. It's farther off, it's over a slope. It goes down, drops off to the wetland from the area where the septic system is, or the old cesspool is. But I don't think there are any, just the typical conditions that you have.
All right. Then we need a motion to close the hearing.
I move that we,
moved.
I move that we close the hearing with
Okay.
no conditions added other than our normal ones.
Okay, we're closing the hearing first. Okay, seconded by Todd. Roll call. Tom Beals,
Yes.
Justin Dufresne,
Yes.
Diane Goldner,
Yes,
Todd Helwig,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Hearing's closed. And now a motion to issue an order of conditions.
So moved. Second.
By Tom Beals. Roll call. Tom Beals,
Yes.
Justin Dufresne,
Yes.
Diane Goldner,
yes.
Todd Helwig,
Yes.
and I vote yes.
Great.
All
Well,
all
great.
set,
Thank
Vito.
you. All right.
Great.
Have a nice night.
Thank you.
You
Have
too.
good Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Yep. You too.
Hi, Vito.
All right. Tom, not your back. When you stepped away, you paralyzed the commission's ability to vote on the minutes. So we're going to spool that up. Did you have any questions about the minutes? You heard no issues?
Yes, I'm good. I heard your
Okay.
comments.
Okay, super. All right. Then we'll go ahead and vote the minutes then if we could. Tom Beals,
Yes,
Diane Goldner,
Yes,
Todd Helwig,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Great. All right. I believe that's the extent of the public hearing, Vinny, correct?
That's correct.
All right. We got a couple of certificate of compliance requests, Southwest Cutoff and 85 West Street. I don't see anybody here looking for that. I don't see Brian Waterman here.
No, Brian. Okay, well, let me get my screen set up for 333 West.
New England Baseball.
Yes. They did the main part of the site, the main development on the site. And then this was just for an addition for the Mass I.
To the left of the building as you're looking at it from the road, they added, I think,
Yes.
an elevator and
Yes,
something else.
there's an
on that
elevator
plan.
and stairwell, I think it was. And can you see my fancy photograph of the area?
Yes, we can.
And this is another easy one. I like it. They put the addition in the building here and it's all grassed and the grass is growing well and they didn't go too far. You can see kind of remnants of where their perimeter barrier was, but it's been vegetated and it's growing fine. So everything looked good to me. I'm not sure if anyone else went out to the site and took a look at it.
no.
A side question, just for my edification, Justin, would you say that's a 1-to-1 slope we're looking at there? 2-to-1?
Yeah, I'd say probably somewhere 2-to-1.
2 to
We
1.
always say kind of a 3-to-1 you can mow pretty easy. A 2-to-1 pretty hard to mow. You're more like weed whacking it. And a 1-to-1 really has to be like riprap to really hold it in place. So I'd say you're probably closer to like a 2-to-1. You know, maybe somewhere in between a 2-to-1 and a 3-to-1.
Okay, any questions?
Yeah, Yeah, and it actually looks it looks steeper than when I walked down through here. It was fine. It's probably a little steeper than a 3-to-1, but it's not, it's a stable slope.
I know when they built that, it was a pretty good slope in the back there. Still is. So.
Oh, there's still slopes on this site. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Let's talk about the second one. We can vote on both together. How's that?
Okay. Let's see if I have that one.
85 West Street,
85 West. Oh, no, wrong one.
Brent and Margaret Viner.
Yes. So this was an area where they had, they're putting in multiple, it's a common driveway. This is the area right in front of, in the photo, or I'm not sharing my screen
Haven't
yet.
seen anything
Sorry
yet.
about that.
But nope.
Now, do you see a new picture? It looks like a path
Yes.
with.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yep.
this is the southern section. I'm standing on the new driveway, going up the old driveway section, and then in the distance, the old driveway runs here from the street, West Street, up to the residence. And this was an access that went out to the other side, to the south side of the residence. They restored this area, good growth. They've got some shrubs growing, good number of shrubs growing in, and they're doing well. This area here was an isolated wetland. And this is just a patch of buffer area that's gone back to natural vegetation in the front.
So you're looking at where the pond is. The
Toward
skating
the pond to the north.
And behind you is Cherry Street.
Yes, yes. Yeah, the sun, and I'm facing north.
Yeah.
And then, whoop, how do we get that one in there? No.
Hmm.
Preview of things to come. Sorry.
Great. Okay.
Is that the only one I have of that? I thought I had a couple for 85 West. Yeah. I'm sorry. I have to move things over on my screen here. Actually, that was
Vinny,
all
what
that
are
I
you
had.
doing that? This is just a partial then? They still have other houses and stuff to build on this. This is the project that has a kind of a few other lots, right?
There's three
Yes,
more.
Okay.
yes, that's the one. It was a common drive. I think there are four or five lots. And this one was in the existing house. And they're
Okay.
trying to just get everything finished up. They haven't started any of the other structures, but they did put in the driveway up to this house and the base course on the common driveway down to West Street. I had some.
Are they looking to sell the house? That's why they want a partial?
No, I think the
No?
owners just want to be done with all the erosion controls, and we needed to get all the approval that it was stable and vegetated before I would let them hold the erosion controls or the sediment controls. So that's kind of the impetus, I think. But on this old driveway in the distance, before the wetland is just beyond this sediment fence here, along this area that got revegetated, it looks just like this. It looks good. There are a couple of old light poles, one in this area here, another one in this area here that still have to be removed. But they took out and addressed all the other concerns that I had. And I talked with them. I said the commission would probably entertain, and it is up to you, of voting on this one to issue this COC, but I would hold it until that final pole removal or two-pole removal is done before I release the approval.
Fine by me.
Yeah,
And that way it saves us time, or saves you time.
Any issues from the commission on that approach?
Fine with me.
it's okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
then
so
I
this
think we're-
makes 85 West, will be basically done. Any work on that lot is done then, Vinny? Nothing else will happen on 85.
The only remaining thing to do on that is right at the very front, at the corner, there's some pavement for the driveway, the old rounding, they didn't cut it back far enough. So they're leaving a little section of sediment fence in the corner at West Street. And they're gonna, when they resurface, they're gonna rip up that pavement. They didn't want to do anything right now, and it's probably a 10 by 10 or even less area for work.
I think there may be one more item here, Justin. If you remember, if you go down West Street towards to north, I guess it is, the very last lot for sale is going to have their own driveway. And that driveway snaked right along the edge of the wetlands down that side. So I believe that is still a piece that's going to be open here, Vinny.
Yes, that's not included. This partial is only for lot 1A, this 85 West Street property. They haven't done any work on I think that's lot 1B, or I think it's lot 1B. And that's farther up West Street. They haven't started anything with that. But they will definitely be close to the wetland, and
Yeah.
I'll
We'll
be
s-
monitoring that.
There's more, there'll be more, we'll see them again here.
Yeah.
And also behind behind me on this picture is where the wetland is, and they still haven't finalized the basin, and the road still needs to go in, and that's within the 100-foot buffer zone. So there is still a significant amount of work for the Conservation Commission to be involved in. And then it starts going up the hill, and they're free and clear for us.
Well, yeah, as long as we're going to have some erosion control device in place as they move up, as they start clearing and so forth.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Sounds like we're good here. I'd suggest we do them both together, 333 Southwest Cutoff and 85 West Street. But 85 West is the partial though. So
It's a partial, right?
Motion to issue certificates of compliance for 333 Southwest Cutoff and partial certificate of compliance for 85 West Street, pending the removal of a couple light poles.
Second,
Tom Beals, roll call. Tom Beals,
yes.
Justin Dufresne,
Yes.
Diane Goldner,
yes,
Todd Helwig,
Yes.
and I vote yes.
So thank you.
All right. Violations. Mr. Knox and Mr. Kane, 20 West and 44 Sunset. A lot of action on West Street this month here.
Yeah, I found out where West Street was this month. I will open up my screen here, and I think I can make this work. All right. This is the historical photo of 20 West Street when we first went out there with the butternut squash or pumpkins growing on this big pile and area of compost, dumped compost there. Turns out that the person that reported this was a Conservation Commission member from Berlin who just was driving through the area to get home. She noticed the guy was dumping in the back there. So it was nice of her to let us know. And from that, we now have moved to, he's done some repair work. The same stones are in the foreground, not exactly the same picture, but you can see how he's removed and he's excavated down a foot or so, 1.5 feet down in this area here below the level grade without having the mounds. He pulled out a good number, over 50 yards of material is what he had said. And he's also planted, what is that? No. He's also got plantings here. This is the final one with plantings. So, oh no. You're seeing this one with the stone and the shrubs being planted here.
I can't tell if it's a shrub or being planted, if it's an old one.
Okay. So now you're seeing a pile of things, the big pile
Yeah.
of compost. And then the interim one where they did the grading. And then this is the final one where they they seeded this area and planted the shrubs. So did you see all three of those, or am I looking at different things on
Yes.
my screen?
Oh, three.
Well, I think
Oh,
they did a
three.
great, I'm sorry.
Oh, three, yes.
I think they did a great job. I think he was apologetic for going in there, and he thought he was far enough away from the wetlands, and he was actually just building a berm, so he wasn't going to have any problems with the neighbors, and he didn't realize what was going on. But once he was told, he responded quickly and took care of this before the end of last month, like he had said he was going to.
Do you know what kind of plants he put in?
High bush blueberry and I'm pulling a blank. Oh, winterberry. And then I think, what is it? Shagberry. It's an
Shag-
edible.
Shad bush or something like that? Okay.
No, I'm sorry, serviceberry.
So this-
Serviceberry. And then he planted it with the the wetland seed mix. So we might end up having more wetlands out there than when we started. So I wasn't sure if that resolves all the issues the commission would have. I'm okay with it as far as the wetland impacts or the wetland buffer zone impacts. He didn't actually get into the wetlands. He was in the buffer zone. So I was okay with that. And I wasn't sure if other commissioners or commissioners have any other questions about the wetland stuff.
No, I think we're good there. We got to address the next steps.
Exactly. Yes. And that's, he's interested in acquiring the property from the town. And there's a long process or a more involved process. I think it would have to go to town meeting to get it surplused and available for acquisition. But there's no sense in doing that whole process if the commission isn't really interested in releasing or selling conservation land, because it is designated as conservation land. It was taken for tax title, but then it was designated at town meeting in 2017 as conservation land.
I
So
believe he's also going to need a vote of the state legislature.
That's a possibility, yes. But that law is on the governor's desk that potentially might change that if there's a financial, as long as it's equal financial value. There have been different tweaks on a new bill at the legislature to do, it's not so much land swaps, but for land protection purposes. I just read it in an email. But yeah, it's a long process, and we didn't want to start going down that road until I knew that you folks were okay with doing it or not okay with it. And then I will have to go to the open space committee, because it doesn't make any sense to try to do anything else if both of
Well-
your groups are not in support of it.
I think we need to look at the buffer zone in the area that he wants to use and because there's riverfront there too. Is any of that piece that he's interested in the riverfront?
Not sure if there's riverfront. There's a wetland in the front, but it's not a perennial stream. I'm going to try to bring up another screen. I apologize for the bouncing around here.
Well, Cold Harbor wanders through there somewhere.
What happened there?
View here.
All right, can you see this one where it says compost piles?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
Yes.
so this is the property, and the property's here. This is where he's got all his equipment. The blue line is the property boundary. Cold Harbor is on the DCR property that abuts it. And he's down in this area here. Do I have a scale? That's 100 feet there. So I don't think there may be a section in the back corner that is within the riverfront area. But I didn't see this. These are wetlands here. This actually drains up to this point here, and there's a culvert that's not shown that goes across here into here. But this is only an intermittent stream, and that's
Mhm.
where those piles were. This area here is owned by the DCR, and the brook runs through here and down by Cherry Street, I think it is.
So there might be another option there. I know that we, in the past, off of Whitney Street, had leased conservation land to Bigelow Nurseries for agricultural purposes. And, maybe there's an opportunity that, we can lease this portion, limit him to a certain area, and not have to go through the purchase process and whatever, generate a little revenue from it.
That's a great idea. I didn't hear about that. How long ago was that Bigelow Nurseries lease?
Ooh, it was probably
20?
20 years ago.
Oh, not 2020?
No,
No,
just
not
20.
2020, sorry.
It
Is
is
that
very
still in
good
effect?
deal.
Is that still in effect, or did that pass?
No,
I
that went, when a development got put in there, they stopped using it.
They used it for a number of years prior, I guess, huh?
Yes.
Mhm.
So where, so I hear Bigelow, it's on, do you know what street it was on? How I could research that
It was on
information?
Whitney Street.
Probably Whitney Street. You know where
Farmhouse
the-
or something?
Pardon?
Was it Farmhouse? It's that little street off of Whitney.
Just down from that. Close to where that house burned down or burned.
Okay.
I don't know that we have to research necessarily that. I'm throwing it out there. I mean, if we're willing to do that, then, that might resolve the issues of the encroachments. And like I said, generate some sort of revenue for conservation.
Would it revert, when this gentleman owns the property, would it revert back to the Conservation Commission upon when he sells the house or moves or whatever the case may be?
Sure, it's only a lease. It's not that, we can set the terms of a lease.
Okay.
Vinny,
Yeah,
does he
that-
own the house right next to this lot too, with that other encroachment that I see in the back there?
Yes, this,
Yeah.
this is the property that he owns. And I'm not sure, Greg, you might be able to help out if he told stories, and I might be mixing something up, but I think his mother-in-law owned this property for 50 years. And so he moved in with his wife when stuff happened in the family, and this garden is back here. It's been in that location since prior to 1990. I don't have it here, but I've got on the town's website in the ArcGIS, you can pull up 1990 images, and you can clearly see this garden with a greenhouse in there on the 1990 image, and some equipment storage back in this area here. So it's not as though he just decided he was going to move out here and do it. He's been using this property for 30 years with he was thinking it was tacit or kind of implied allowance that everything was okay. He said he's starting to move stuff out now that he's been made aware that we're not pleased with it, but we stopped him from moving everything out to see what the commission wants to do and how we want to approach this.
Yeah, Vinny, to answer Justin's question, if I remember, when we were out there last time, he's bringing the garden back to his boundaries, if I remember. He was gonna take some fencing down and replant some stuff and
Yes, yes,
Trying to bring that
he was
up.
planning on just bringing the half the garden. He doesn't need all of it. He's just going to do half of it and pull his fencing in. He's got apple trees in the back there and pear trees growing. He's going to stop mowing this area in the back. I think he and his neighbor, or this has all been mowed for 30 years. And he's kind of said he's getting tired of that too. So that's not a problem to stop doing that. But
I mean, I like the idea of trying to give it, especially since he's been using it for so long. The only other thing I think we'd have to look at, just kind of looking at the town's GIS, is that's all in floodplain everywhere where he's got all the trucks and everything. So it's not wetlands, but it's all 100-year floodplain.
Yep. So he's not allowed, because it's town-owned property. He wouldn't be allowed to get a building permit to put any kind of a permanent structure on there. And he wasn't hoping or asking to get that if he were to acquire the property. He just has, right now, he has a couple
More
of temporary
parking the trucks
covers.
and stuff like that. We just have to be
Right.
careful about, storage and materials and
Right.
all that kind of stuff.
Yep. Yep,
Seems like
liquids
he's
and hazmat.
willing to work with us. Just be interesting to try to see how that would play out through the CR. I know those are really hard to kind of get through, but maybe that lease option might be a way to do
Yeah.
it.
I really like the lease because we can let him do what he wants to do.
Yeah,
We can charge him small amount, whatever, and it sort of ends with him,
yeah,
right? If he sells the
Yeah.
property, the lease could automatically terminate.
yep.
That's a great, I like that idea. Yep.
Yeah, or we can renew the lease every 5 years or whatever. Or 10 years or whatever.
Okay, well, let me try to dig out the old lease and see how that was structured. And then I can talk to him. He said he might be at this meeting. I don't know if Jim, do you see Robert Knox?
no, the only attendee we have is Scott Rogers.
Oh, okay.
Probably
So
gonna
Scott,
need to
here-
talk to Code
Scott,
Air
here in this
too. You're
discussion,
gonna have a public procurement problem even with a lease.
Yeah, there's going to be a process no matter what.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
just, sounds like a lot less of a process if we have a lease and we've done that, or you've done that in the past.
I mean, as you know, I've recused myself from the discussion because of a relationship with him, but the idea of selling conservation land, I think, is a little bit dangerous because now you got a real slippery slope. You do that one time and, now we have some exposure, but the lease might be an alternative there. But it does have some, a lot of questions with that too, liability issues and so forth.
Right, it gives me a place to start. I can pull that through, but it seems like you're all pretty much okay with a lease, depending on what the wording is.
Yeah, I think we would have to define his use and limit his use. And keep it to the area that is already disturbed and not expanded.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'm hoping to kind of pull them farther away, pull it all kind of closer to his actual property. And then try to reclaim and let it go back to natural in the more distant areas where it's kind of just sprawled out.
Yeah, well, that's okay.
So Vinny, it sounds like that the restoration of the wetlands work is meeting the commission's requirements. All the work that piece, all bits, with the plantings and so forth. And you're going to the commission seems to have an open mind around the lease issues. You're going to do some research on that.
Okay.
All right. Anything else in West Street, 20 West Street?
No, I should
Okay.
have left my screen up there. Sorry.
44 Sunset Drive, Mr. Kane. Trash dumping down the slope in the backyard.
Yes, where's that one? We had a report from a neighbor of trash dumped in the backyard, and I think you can see my screen here with a pile of trash.
Yep.
Well, if you look on where pointing on my arrow in the upper right-hand corner, there's a wetland down there, and this is probably a 25-foot, 30-foot drop down to the wetland from the top of slope, which is right here. This is 44 Sunset, so this wetland extends across and then it goes down to, I'm going to probably say it wrong, McAfee Park on the tennis court side. This wetland extends farther along there, but all along the back here he had just thrown debris and junk for years. And some of this concrete blocks and old propane tanks, a bucket of old asphalt sealer, all this stuff was down at the bottom of the hill or on the slope. And he's an older guy, but he had hired his landscaper to pull all this material up. And so that's what we have. It's still sitting at the top of the slope. He did some of the work, but I'm trying to finish it to get it gone, like properly disposed of. But I just want to give you a report that we're making progress, and just need to kind of make the last step of getting rid of it.
You've been pretty responsive so far.
Well,
Sort of.
yeah, it's
Yeah, just to stay on them, that's all.
right. Because it's been there for probably 3 weeks now, 2 to 3 weeks. And I was hoping it was going to be gone. I was going to be able to show you this picture and then nothing from an inspection. But the last time I was there, it looks the same.
Could I make a suggestion that we all get this calendar from the town about recycle times and things like that? There are a lot of places listed on there where he could, if he could call around, could probably find someone to take that junk away for him. Or if not, I've got a name of somebody that would come and get it. It's going to cost money, but they'd take it away.
Okay, well, actually, if you could give me that name, that would be, I don't need it now, but you can send me an email or give me a call, and I would take that just as a local connection. I have the calendar, the recycling calendar, so that's good. I can suggest that he use that as well.
Okay, update. So we still got another step to go here, right?
Right, progress.
No more violations, huh? Good. Vinny, I drove by Lincoln Street again today. You know, the work being done next to the middle school, and the street looks better. I mean, they've done a pretty good job trying to keep on top of that.
Good. He seems to be pretty responsive too.
Couple questions here on items. 0 Hudson Street, we're waiting for a refiling on that one, correct?
0, yes, yeah, 0 Hudson, yes. I didn't hear anything. I didn't see any notice of an appeal. So I think he's just putting another package together and will resubmit when he's got everything complete.
144, 150 West Main Street, the slope in the back, the no wall, and we put stones in place. New plan coming in for that.
I got that a couple of days ago, and they're proposing a vegetated slope using a North American green product. It's rated for a 1-to-1 slope, and I took a look at their design. It looks like they're kind of making the right steps. There are a few details that they're still working on, but I think they're going in the right direction. I like that instead of a lot of the rock slope.
So we're going to come in December agenda item.
Yes.
Okay. And last one I have here is the 93 Maynard Rapper's Crib. Todd, you bought all the albums from the guy? You're all set now? You an aficionado of You're muted, Todd.
His lips aren't moving.
Yeah,
either.
right, I am.
So we laughed about that. There was a rumor that the owner of 93 Maynard Street was a Worcester rapper who's Grammy nominated for something. So
That's what the kids tell me. I'm in touch with the people.
there you go.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, there's an update on that. They've got the erosion controls in place to get the work done, and I'm expecting a call one of these days that they're installing the plants. They had an order in, and Andrew from Goddard Consulting was going to get in touch with me when they were starting the work. So I may take a ride out there just to make sure they're not, well, as long as they're doing the work, it should be fine, but I'll just go out there and check to see if they are.
I saw your notes. They still got to get some fencing out. Some piece of fencing is still there, and the vessels aren't happy. You know, I saw those emails too. So,
Right. They haven't done a lot of the work yet, but they're ready to do the work.
well, we just have to stay on top of them. I think, and that's the classic one. It's going to require a lot of visits, which is fine. That's all I got, Vinny. What do you have? Anything exciting?
The
coming up,
only
you
other
know,
item is our next meeting. And actually, did I remember to send off next year's schedule of meetings?
No, haven't seen it.
Well, I had it. It's basically the same thing, the second Monday of every month. I wasn't sure if that still works for people. The only month that it doesn't work is October, when that's Columbus Day weekend or Columbus Day. And I moved it to the third week. But again, it's Mondays. Mondays at 6.
I mean, Mondays are historical for us. People make plans around that. We just have to deal with the Zoom hosting situation, or in person, or something combined.
Well, that is going to be coming up for our next meeting in December. Our meeting in December is scheduled for, I didn't change that on the agenda. Our next meeting is scheduled for December 12th, I think it is, the Monday. And again, it's a Monday, so we don't have a Zoom host available. They're talking in town that they're going to hire a cable person, a cable staff person, and they, as part of their work, might be able to do some of the Zoom hosting, but they're not sure they'll have that person on board and trained in time for a December 12th hearing or meeting. And I know we're going to have at least one hearing for that amended order at 144, 150 West Main Street. So we're kind of in a difficult spot again. We could do it Zoom and hope that we get a host, or schedule it for an in-person meeting on that night.
So if it matters, I'm pretty sure I'm not available then.
On which day, Todd?
The Monday, the 12th.
Can we get a host for the 15th? Can that happen, or we don't know?
Our host that we're lucky to have, Jim, is got some finals that week. So this class doesn't end until I think the 20th, I think it is, the Monday, the 19th. And Jim, you can jump in at any time if you like.
Jim's laying low.
Yeah, well,
Laying
it's
low.
pretty clear he's got class. He's got to take care of that. And the town, they've had it posted for 6 months and we're not getting any takers. We were trying to get a couple of people that we knew that it's a 19-hour position, 19 hours a week position. And nobody wants it.
Now, what's your situation in terms of being able to host?
Well, you see me trying to jump from screen to screen just with photographs.
Yeah.
It's tough to kind of manage, describe a project, follow through, and then bring people in and coordinate the meeting. I'm not comfortable with doing it yet.
What if we push it to the 22nd?
In hopes that we have a host.
A host, yeah.
Is Jim out the 22nd?
So the one input I was gonna say, but I was holding my tongue, was my classes actually go up until the 22nd. So I'm going right up until Christmas with classes and stuff.
Okay. I mean, do we want to think about the 29th? Is that what we just, is that way out there now?
Just trying to pull up a calendar. It's kind of up to you. It's
What did you say, Vinny? We will have something. There's definitely something coming in for December.
no, nothing's definite. They actually hired someone.
I just mean for projects. Is there any that you
Yes,
know
the
of?
amended, right. The one
Okay.
that came in is an amended order for 144, 150 to change the slope from a block. I mean,
The wall,
yeah,
the
a block
wall
wall.
replacement.
So there's that one, and also the high school field project they just submitted today for field renovations, and that's not a wetlands issue, that's a land disturbance permit, but it's still us and we have to hold a hearing. But they're not in a big rush. They could wait possibly to January, but I'm not sure about Mr. Benincasa. Because we could just skip the December meeting.
I know that's kind of where I was going with that. If we didn't have anything pressing, it sounds like we might have a couple. But maybe they could wait till the beginning of January.
You could always hold 2 meetings, couldn't you? In January.
Could, but I mean, I don't see a big, we had a lot more people than a lot more proposals in the summertime that you guys took care of pretty well. So our meeting currently is scheduled for January 9th.
Vinny, let me ask a question, Vinny. What, and up to the commission, what's the appetite for meeting in person?
Okay.
I'm in.
I don't have any, I don't
Yeah.
have any issues with meeting in person. It's just more convenient with the Zoom, but
Yeah.
No question on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I could always do the 12th in person if we had to get one in. And I mean, if there was only one thing or something, though, I mean, maybe just bump it to January. I guess it just depends on how pressing something is.
Vinny, when's the cutoff? The cutoff's the 25th, right? For December?
Yes, for submittals in filing, yes,
So a week from tomorrow.
right. But the town hall is going to be closed. That's the day after Thanksgiving, and then town hall's closed Thursday and Friday.
Right. No, I'm thinking that if nothing else comes in and you have a conversation with James Tetro around push them out, and if all of that's positive, then we just kick it to January. If for some reason they have an issue with it or something else comes in, then we try and do an in-person on the 12th. And
Okay.
that's, you know,
I
any other
don't see
question?
them, I don't see them doing that slope in December or January. So I don't know that it's that critical.
What are the commission's thoughts on that approach?
Yeah, that sounds good to me. I would agree with Tom. I can't imagine that they're, pressing to kind of do it over Christmas week or anything, but I don't know. Who knows? So yeah, maybe we just kind of see what comes in before next Wednesday, and if it's nothing else, you talk to that applicant and see if we just do it in January.
We can, I believe we could have conversations as a group, like a group email without open law violations. Is that true?
I mean, to
No,
schedule a
Todd's-
meeting,
Todd's shaking his head.
right?
You were gonna, you mean, no, we can't communicate by email amongst ourselves about topics, no.
How about, does that include meeting dates? It's a fairly innocuous topic, right? I mean, that's
Yeah.
not,
Well, actually, the way I've tried
I don't
to
know.
work that is
I don't
in
know.
the past, we've done it with the chair sends something out and then everybody responds back to the chair. So it's not a discussion among members.
all right. Interesting. Well, we don't want the open meeting law violations, that's for sure. When do we
Well, I
have to publish the date, Vinny, for the December meeting? When would that be? That would have to be, if we go the 12th,
3 has to be in 7 days, and the legal notice has to be in 7 days in advance for the land disturbance permits. And so it's probably about 2 weeks in advance of that. Because
So
of
like-
the telegram timeframe.
That's like the 28th.
20th of November.
Right.
Right.
That's like next Wednesday, if I remember right, or a
That's
week from
Monday.
It's like
It's a
11
Monday.
days.
It's a Monday after Thanksgiving, right?
Yes.
Right. Yeah, so I think we could do it. And I can contact Mr. Tatro and the high school and see if they're able to just go to January 9th. And then hopefully by then we will have a host.
And if he's adamant about wanting his time in December, do we have a one-off on the 12th for him?
Yeah, whatever. That's fine if.
And in person.
Hey,
In person one-off.
sure. It's fine by me.
Diane?
Yes,
Okay. Well, nodding heads, just nodding your head. Todd's out on the 12th anyway. All right, let's approach that, Vinny. We'll try and see if we can move to January. Presuming nothing else big comes in we're not aware of. And then hope we have a host in January. And if not, then we would have to do a one-off on the 12th for whatever we have on the agenda, which would be 145, 150, and maybe the high school, unless you can push them to January too.
Right. Well, if we're going to meet in December, then why not have them on the agenda?
Yeah, we can. I was trying to keep the meeting short, but that's, yeah.
Oh,
That's
okay.
fine. Okay. Vinny, if you'd run by your boss there, the open meeting question too. Because I'm just thinking that, if we change dates, if I send a note out to the commission saying the date's going to be X versus Y, I mean, that's not I don't view that as being a violation, but I want to be careful.
Yep, I can ask that.
All right. Anything else? Nothing else, Vinny, from you?
No, I think this covers it. Thank you.
I see the forestry action. I saw communication with Vinny on the forestry piece.
Yeah,
You saw that. So there's movement.
Yeah,
right.
I talked to the regional forester, is that what he's called?
Yes, I
from
believe that's correct.
PCR. Seems like a nice guy. He's willing to meet us out there, kind of walk through the process with us. He's had experience with getting public input and
Yeah.
working in preparation for a strong public concern. So I think it'd be helpful to have him included and him on board.
Yeah, I don't know if that's something that we can kind of head for the first of the year.
Yeah, if things stay quiet, that's probably a good thing to go early, like while it's still cold and wintry. We plan for a public hearing or something in March, maybe February,
Well,
March.
You know, the ideal time to do that harvesting is in the winter, January, February, when the ground's frozen. So it's a lot less land disturbance. But I don't know that we'll make it that quick.
I agree with that. But it's also, we're trying also to see if we can include the invasives management. And from what I saw in the information that he sent to us was that they like to do the invasive management either before or during some of the first part of the cut with some hand removal, and that wouldn't be something you could do in frozen conditions. So I'm not sure if we kind of do a first phase in the summer when we can do the invasives part as well, and then do the more, I guess, more difficult, more sensitive areas when it's frozen. But
Yeah, the only drawback to that is, you know, that's another year on the trees being harvested. The longer they stand dead, you know,
more rot.
the value goes down and down,
Okay, yep.
you know. We may reach a point where there's no value there for anybody to go to harvest them. So,
Okay, well, we'll plan on soon.
And I see also Lincoln Street School's making some slow progress there too, Vinny, on that.
I'm hoping to hear something about that by next Wednesday. I think it was. There was a deadline. It was an additional grant that was specifically for universal access improvements. And the reason we didn't move forward on that or the original design for this outdoor classroom learning center at Lincoln School was because they had proposed to use bark mulch and chips, and that's not an accessible surface for handicap. So we needed to change that, and we were trying to get bids and estimates to see how much it would cost us. And there's a new grant that's potentially applicable to this, that we might be able to use it to put stone dust instead of the wood chips.
Good. That's all I got. That's all I have. Once around, anybody else? Questions, comments, concerns? Tom said, see you later. He's out of here. Had enough.
He's done.
We did a motion to adjourn then.
So moved.
Second.
By Diane, I think. Roll call vote. Justin Dufresne,
Yes.
Diane Goldner,
Yes.
Todd Helwig.
Yes.
I vote yes. Very good.